And now, the main event, where tonight's entertainment is the review of entertainment. We like movies, we like television, and we like overthinking it. Introducing the podcast of critics.
Hello, and welcome to the podcast of critics. I'm Garrett.
I'm Ashley.
And who the heck is that over there?
What? Who's this guy? It is Mitchell joining the cast today.
Yes,
awesome.
We have our first guest star joining the cast because remember, the title of the show is a pun. It's the cast, not just the cast of critics, the podcast of critics. So, like we talked about early on in the show, the idea of the show is that we do have kind of rotating people coming in to join the cast and talk about movies they like. So today we have my little brother, who is taller than me.
Yeah, he's not really that little.
I'm a grown man.
Grown ass man.
Yeah.
Mitchell, welcome, buddy.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah.
Happy you are here. So today we are continuing, or finishing even, our series on 90s disaster movies, concluding with a movie that is somewhat disastrous in a lot of ways.
It's stressful.
Truly the biggest of the ones we've talked about, Armageddon. And Mitt, you have a fondness for this one.
Yeah, I do. As a kid, Armageddon was always one of the first, like, oh, this is an adult movie that I'm watching now. Like this, I'm finally understanding, not cartoons and everything. So
yeah.
One of the first movies that you saw from before I was born, or maybe the year I was born, but
98, yeah.
Yeah, 98, yeah. So, it was definitely one of the first movies I watched whenever I was a kid, and I haven't seen it in forever, so it was good to revisit that.
I do remember that too. Now that you say that, first like adult grown-up movie, good way to put it. Because I remember this was a random for us, for Ashley, for us at our backstory.
I'm along for the ride this time.
Like our parents was like this was like a family weekend movie night type of movie.
It's just like always one of those always rolling on FX, like in the
That
middle
too.
of the day, like at around 5 o'clock.
They had a ton of good movies on FX.
Yeah.
FX had a good selection of that's how I think.
Still do. Just
You
now
and
it's
I-
just Step Brothers.
I would
every
say
hour.
Step Brothers, The Proposal. The
Yeah.
Proposal is always on
Yeah.
too. But that's I think how you and I probably did watch quite a lot of movies growing up. Is like FX just happened to have some on, but this was one that like our parents like definitely goes we'll watch this one, and it kind of weird.
And I think we had the DVD for a while. It was just always under the cabinet, and it's a cool cover. Too.
It is a cool cover, yeah,
So it just
which
looks cool.
we've parodied
We have parried.
on the Instagram by the time this comes out. But yeah, so very strange movie, very honestly fun. I came into it kind of expecting it to be because like it's I think the definition of a popcorn movie is how I would describe it.
Please expand on the definition of that.
Where it's not a good movie. It's not like it's not technically it wasn't nominated for Oscars.
Yeah,
so,
we could find that out.
so maybe it is. I don't know.
Probably just for music, but
Yeah, but did we find out which one it was nominated for actually?
I should have. I didn't. Hold on.
I imagine it's Best Original
Give
Song.
me 2 seconds.
Because we got Aerosmith in there.
So you've got Academy Awards for original song, sound effects, editing, visual effects.
But all the technical
Hella
stuff.
awards though. You've got a Grammy, MTV Movie
Grammy.
Awards. They won Best Song from a Movie, Best Action Sequence for MTV Movie Awards. Won a Golden Screen Award. Won Worst Actor for the Golden Raspberry Awards.
Which one was that?
I'll let you guess.
Ben Affleck.
Was it Ben Affleck?
Nah, dude, it was Bruce.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah, which sucks. That's really rude, honestly. I thought it was a moving performance.
It's a very fun, silly, heightened action movie. It is not it's not a moving piece of like cinema or anything to me, but it is more fun. I came into it expecting to kind of roast it a little bit. It's honestly just kind of a good time.
Yeah, but it's like that summer, hit movie that comes. It's nothing that's going to be, too deep, but
No.
that you're going to tear apart into pieces and dive into. But
As we're about to.
Yes, we're about to try.
Yeah, as much as we can. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's Michael Bay, who, that's the other thing too, is Michael, yeah, thank you for the sound explosion sound effect. Good punctuation there. But so we know him nowadays from Transformers. which it would also be easy to come onto the show and be like, Michael Bay is not a talented director. He sucks. None of his movies are not deep and they're not cinematic. I'm not going to do that. Mitchell, we fucking love Transformers.
I fucking love Michael Bay movies. Dude. Ninja Turtles goes crazy. He brought us Megan Fox into the big screen. So
yeah,
that's true.
Forever owe him for that.
Exactly.
To her, maybe displeasure sometimes,
right,
every now and then. Yeah. But those are, and we'll have to do Transformers. Maybe we'll have you on for Transformers too. I think that would actually be good, because I definitely remember us having a great time when the second one came out that summer. Incredibly hype. Yeah, this is interesting. This is before all that.
This will be good. Yeah.
Yeah, this is before Michael Bay became kind of like a meme director.
Before Michael Bay became the Michael Bay we know.
The Michael Bay we know. Yeah, this is when he did The Rock before this with like Sean Connery.
Oh wow.
Someone else headlined that, but that's an actually good movie that people think of. So this is kind of his in between.
Okay.
Phase. He does not like this one though. Is what I was reading
Boys.
on the thing. Bad Boys too. Yeah, he did those. So like he's not a competent dude. The thing is, movie does look good.
Well, it's very produced.
But I think it's like produced at late 90s. Like it's kind of ahead of its time, where like that bridging that age of 90s movies into that early 2000 like cinema with a lot more effects and everything that looked crazy good at the time, but we look back on it now. We're like,
it still holds up.
No, it held up because as a first time watcher, like I think I told y'all as we were like watching it, like the shakiness really added to the stress for me.
There's a lot of cuts. I was reading too, like the average like length of like the cuts in this movie are like 1.5 seconds.
Yeah.
So it's cutting back and forth all the time. Very effective, very chaotic. Definitely like in keeping with the theme of the series. Like even though it's kind of more of a sci-fi, I guess, still a very good disaster movie in the sense of like keeping that action going and stuff.
For sure.
So who do we got in this one too?
Because you've got the screenplay by J.J. Abrams and Jonathan Hensleigh.
Is it J.J. Abrams?
It's J.J. Abrams, which like J.J. Abrams is our guy.
Destroyed Star Wars.
Yeah.
All to J.J. Abrams' credit, he did give us Lost, which is one of my favorite TV shows.
Oh Lord.
The hit 2004 ABC show Lost. Absolutely love it. But I'll never forgive him for fucking up Star Wars. So
yeah, Star Trek too.
I remember you thinking he was going to do so well with that too. Whenever J.J. Abrams.
Yeah, because we're hype. He does some really good TV shows. And
he's a competent guy. And that's why they hired him for them, is because he's like he's not going to make a movie that's going to like blow your mind or anything, but he's going to shit out just like a good factory product, which is technically what he did. But that's anyway.
And then produced by action drama legend
Jerry Bruckheimer.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which we love for
Pirates.
Pretty much any CBS show ever.
His hands are all over the place.
He just keeps doing things. Pearl Harbor,
which Michael Bay also did. Not
he
nearly
also did The Rock with Michael Bay.
Okay, yeah. Good buddies.
Top Gun, which we did say had like a recycled. Well, I said I have that in my notes. There's a Top Gun recycled scene in the beginning when they're running to the jets.
Oh.
When things are starting to fall apart and they haven't figured out what it is yet, and they're like running. It's basically
pulled from Top Gun.
Yeah, pulled from Top Gun. It looks like.
Cast wise, we've got Bruce Willis. Height probably of his career. This is like post Pulp Fiction and stuff.
Is this pre Die Hard?
I think it is post Die Hard. Yeah.
Is it post Die Hard?
So it's like definitely like the height of his period for sure. Ben Affleck, kind of the start of his career as kind of a leading man. Capitalized, continuing on with Pearl Harbor and stuff like that.
Right.
This is when he is kind of like a pretty boy action star though, and not quite like the serious.
Do you think he was living with Damon at this time?
Maybe maybe they had moved out because they were successful. They'd done Good Will Hunting, and they'd gotten the Oscar at this point. Maybe that was before actually. I'm not sure on that timeline.
Yeah, but then you've got Billy Bob Thornton.
Ooh, he's great. Dated Angelina Jolie. Married her for a second.
Got a tattoo with his name.
He's done.
Or she got a tattoo with his name.
They exchanged blood.
Ew.
Very risque. Yeah.
Neat.
But he did a good recent turn. The most recent thing I've seen him in is season 1 of Fargo on FX. Great show.
Oh.
He plays the villain in that first season. He does a very scary, good job. This is the first thing I remember seeing him in. Was this movie?
I don't know. This is the first thing that I've seen. It's definitely not because Friday Night Lights, but
How does he show up in there?
yeah. But more memorable role for him, I think.
Mm-hmm.
To place him to, it's definitely a touchstone role for him.
Yeah.
And then Liv Tyler.
Liv Tyler, who also got her dad to sing for the movie, pretty much. She's done this. She's done Lord of the Rings. She was in The Strangers, if you guys have seen that one, the horror movie.
That's you.
Yeah. Kind of a quiet lot, but she does a good job here.
I like to think that they asked Aerosmith to make the soundtrack for it, and then he said, all right, but it's contingent on you just giving my daughter the lead role. All right, well, I guess we'll do that.
Yeah, that's what we gotta do. Gotta do what we gotta do, man.
Nice.
And then Will Patton, who has a little redemption arc. He's
Yeah,
our
yeah.
Remember the Titans coach.
I think
He's also in Outer Range most recently.
he's the best actor in this, I think, actually. In terms of performances, I think he's given like the most. Like Bruce Willis is just kind of being Bruce Willis. Ben Affleck is just kind of being Ben Affleck. But like that,
Buscemi's definitely being Buscemi.
yeah. But Patton's doing some actual acting, I think.
All right. So Steve Buscemi, Peter Stormare.
Yep, Peter Stormare, who
He's just like a
big
he was
character
a really
actor.
fun reveal for me because I was like, who is this Russian gonna be?
Yeah.
And then he just comes in and he's one of the boys. Like they'd never met this guy before. He's
And he's also been up there for how many months?
Yeah,
Or
18
years?
months. 18 months, they
yeah.
said.
On
yeah.
his own.
yeah. He's got space
Crazy.
dementia.
He's great. Yeah, he made the most. Yeah, we get into some space dementia.
And then Keith David as the general.
As the general who wants to nuke the shit out of the thing. Love him. Been in everything.
He's the Shadow Man.
The Shadow Man in Princess and the Frog. He voices the Arbiter in Halo. Good.
That was really good.
It's my elite.
That's your lead. That's good. Yeah. We've got who else we got?
That's pretty much everybody. So
We got
far.
Owen Wilson shows up just to,
Owen
to die.
Wilson's there.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Space. Wow. We're in outer space now. Wow.
William Fixture,
Well, yep, another good just character actor.
Colonel.
I guess
He's
the Colonel. Yep.
And then Michael Clark Duncan, rest in peace,
R.I.P.
R.I.P.
as Bear.
Mm-hmm.
And honorable mention to Jessica Steen, who was the most competent person trying to get everybody back home.
Was she the Watts, the chick on the team?
She was the chick on the team.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So that
we can only
rounds
have
out
one.
our cast.
She's the Rock. Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much all of our cast.
Very 90s cast. Very, like, it's interesting looking back at this, and like I think they've all had bigger careers in this movie.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like this
is an honorable mention for all of them, I think.
Yeah, well, it's a start for a lot of them, like Affleck, probably like Owen Wilson and stuff. This is before he got his big break with Cars, you know.
Right.
He wasn't doing the what's that one he does with Jackie Chan?
Rush Hour.
No, not Rush Hour.
No. It's the same.
Shanghai
same vibe.
Shanghai Nights.
Yeah.
That's the second one. Shanghai Noon, I think is the first one. Yeah. Shanghai Nights is like those are good.
Yeah. So
I remember
that was
liking
like,
those.
I think that was
That's another
around the
good.
same time period.
Yeah.
But anyways, so getting into it for plot.
Yeah. So let's walk through this. It's kind of convoluted in a
Well,
even though it's
so-
you go into it thinking like it's gonna be a stupid Michael Bay movie, asteroids coming, blah blah blah. It's got some steps.
I was shell shocked the whole time. So
Yeah, what is your I guess like big overall thesis statement takeaway first time
I had
viewing?
at no point did I know what was coming next. I was trying to call it, but I did not know.
Okay.
So and I was pleasantly surprised by that. I appreciate that.
Gotcha.
I like being wrong
Yeah.
sometimes, not always.
What about you, Matt? Coming into it, having not seen it for years, but like having the nostalgia for it. What was your-
I mean, just kind of like the whole theme of the podcast y'all are doing recently, just on disaster movies. I mean, big asteroid coming towards space, and what are we gonna do about it? Type of deal. So,
Did it hold up for you?
yeah, I think it did. I think it was a lot better than I anticipated too. Because I mean, if you go back and read reviews, a lot of critics seem to not like the
love it,
movie,
yeah.
but from an audience standpoint, everybody seems to be kind of okay with it now still.
I had a great time watching it with you two.
Yeah.
I think it's a great
Like we were laughing a lot. There's a lot of jokes sprinkled out in between too that are well timed.
I cried.
Yeah.
It's
It moved me, Bob.
It's a great night in with the homies type of movie, I think. So yeah, let's get into it. So we kick off with a very dramatic opening narration of like 65 million years ago, a comet destroyed the dinosaurs. I forgot about that. That's immediately silly and over dramatic.
Yeah, but we could have cut that.
This narration never comes back in. It's just okay. All right.
And then it's like 65 million years later.
Yeah.
Like we just skip in between.
This has never happened again until now.
Yeah.
All right. Whatever. They do the thing that we've kind of seen with the title sequence where like Armageddon comes across and it like blows apart.
Oh yeah,
the letters blow apart.
I think that was just like
we don't see this
that
anymore.
was like the new effect that dropped in like Adobe or something.
Like,
and everybody's like, we gotta use it, man. We gotta use it.
When you first discover PowerPoint transitions, you're like, hell yeah.
Or the word art back in the day.
Yeah, that's true. So we got some astronauts repairing a satellite. Very stressful situation. NASA's radioing them up and stuff. Meteor shower comes around.
Basically destroys them.
Destroys the whole thing. This was pretty, which I like this too. Kind of, I think every movie we've talked about has done this, where it gets going immediately.
Yeah.
We immediately get into whatever the disaster is, so immediately we get a meteor shower. Cool, great, off the bat. This looks good. Space looks good. Astronaut stuff looks good. Effects, we're off to a good start.
For sure.
They're not. They're off to a bad start here as they get shattered. Yeah.
Yeah, we get to Little Richard.
Little Richard. Just hanging around.
Oh, man. This was a very short-lived. Did the dog die?
Yeah.
They never.
Cut back to it.
Yeah. The guy's has his dog in the hole that's created by this meteor from out of
meteor
space,
shower.
and he's just holding on to it. He says somebody called 911, but he doesn't pull the dog up when. It
Which,
seems
like, relatively
he
speaking, that should be
Yeah,
easy.
just it's not like it's a Great Dane or anything. It's like
It's a little
not
bulldog.
Scooby
10-pound
down
dog.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, let's just get him up.
But we see New York getting destroyed, which this is classic Michael Bay shit.
We kind of foreshadow 2001 a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the first thing we said. Oh, is this pre 9/11? Because
A taxi driver or something is like, it could be a terrorist attack. It
he
could
said
be
it's Hamas.
And he's like,
Saddam Hussein's bombing us.
we're at war. Yeah, Saddam Hussein is bombing us. And then you cut to one of the towers on fire.
Smoking. Yeah, well, then the Empire State Building crashes. He has a lot of fun with this. Every little, because we have like one of these every hour, it seems like, where it's like, let's do another big city get destroyed. Hit me again.
It's like Lilo and Stitch, where like he's just Stitch. He's like, I come to destroy.
Yeah. But I like how this looks. Like it reminds me a lot of Transformers, actually. You see like him learning his style, I think, a lot in this movie, of just like, I like this. I like things blown up. I like when the taxi like flips over and stuff, and he's like following that and everything. So it's competent. Like, he's good at it. You know? It's like, I hate that I came into this kind of being like ready to shit on Michael Bay, and I'm like, I don't know. And like, dude knows what he's doing when it comes to just
It was a vibe.
making the destruction. And again, like we were immediately into it. So good stuff. Do you like that we follow the little, like, the normal people too?
Yeah, you get to see like an everyday life of like New York, and is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just I think that's a good perspective.
Because
kinda
you like
kick it
know
off from.
exactly what time period you're in from the way that like even though we did ask, is this pre 9/11? But like shortly thereafter, it's
our benchmark. Yeah,
it answers itself.
right.
You could probably, man. I guess we had 2012, like that movie, which I never saw, but that didn't look any good. But it's definitely like,
I have no idea.
I don't know
haven't
that you
seen
can
it.
get away with destroying. Well, we got Avengers and stuff. Destroying big, like,
Where are
iconic
they at in all
landmarks.
this?
Yeah, where are those guys?
They should have been on this.
Yeah.
Where's Thor? No, but I think in the same way where we were upset with Dante's Peak, in that we did not fall in love with the town, this one
Has the advantage of us knowing.
yeah, well, it has the advantage of being a familiar place, but it also has the advantage of just giving us the time to sort of
hang out with bike guy for a second.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah.
Hang out with bike guy, hang out with the taxi, hang out with
The
even
dog.
like people around the world.
Yeah, I was going
too.
to say, even you see, it's
And you
it's a
keep coming back to
it's a
it.
global issue that everybody's facing. You're not just focusing on one town. You're seeing, I can't remember if it's at the very beginning, but you see,
We
over
cut
in
to
India
Asia,
and
yeah.
in Asia and everywhere else, you're seeing these meteor showers come down. So
Yeah, so you're like you hang out with every culture pretty much, or just about. It's very inclusive in that way.
Sure.
So.
We will give it the diversity points.
Yeah. There it is.
checks and boxes.
You're
yeah.
right. We cut to NASA and the president, who are figuring all this out or whatever. Because they do think at first maybe it is a missile thing. It's not a missile thing. It is a meteor that like
Meteor shower.
ran through some asteroids, and like the asteroids are kind of what's crashing down now. So the main event is not here yet, but it's like 18 days out essentially.
I see.
We meet Billy Bob Thornton and stuff, and kind of get that he's our man in NASA
Right.
who knows the situation. He's our ground control guy. Reminds me a lot of oh god, who is it? Ed Harris in Apollo 13. Which that's one that I find myself comparing this to a lot, is Apollo 13, because that's one of my favorites.
Is it just because of NASA, or
It's because it has the same kind of like back and forth of like you have your ground crew, you have your flight crew, and they're both trying to kind of solve problems, and it's a
Okay.
very similar disaster movie kind of scenario where like, oh, something's going wrong on the shuttle. Cut to Ed Harris in the control room, and he's getting the NASA scientists to figure everything out. Love that movie because it's obviously based in like a real story and everything, and it has a little bit of, it's grounded in the reality. This one is a little less so, and it's a kind of like a period piece too in the 70s or whatever with Apollo 13. So, but I always liked him. I like a good NASA ground crew character. Always one of my favorite type of just archetypes in this genre.
all right?
Anyway, so I like Billy Bob was always my favorite character. I probably looking back on this one, but we meet our main character, Bruce Willis,
Yeah,
Harry Stamper. What is he
So-
introduced doing?
trying to shoot the shit out of Ben Affleck.
No, well, before that, he's trying to shoot the shit out of Greenpeace.
He's golfing.
Yeah.
Which was that realistic? Mitchell's our resident
Oh
golfer.
yeah. Give us your. He's gonna swing.
Yeah, might as well be. Yeah, hey, wherever you can. So that's
But he's a good introduction to Harry Stamper here. So we have Stamper Oil, which I like the logo. I don't know if you guys noticed this. The logo for his thing is like the name Stamper, but the A is like a rig.
Yeah.
That's good.
I
Good
did
visual.
see that. I think my favorite part of this scene is him bitching. I can't remember the quote exactly, but he's bitching about like Greenpeace protesting him on this like diesel boat.
Yeah,
He's like, do you know how much they're
diesel is
destroying?
running? Yeah. You know how many gallons of diesel that's pumping out? Yeah.
Yeah.
So at first he's just hitting golf balls at them, and they're ducking every 2 seconds.
They're
for
going
real.
through it, man. Yeah.
And then he goes to find, for whatever reason, all of a sudden he realizes that AJ's not. I wasn't clear on that.
Yeah. Well, so he finds AJ like in his like bunk or whatever because he's upset because played by Ben Affleck. So AJ like left one of the drillers or whatever going overnight or something or other that like, and he wanted it shut off because it would have caused a explosion, which it does later. So he finds him to chew him out about that. So we get their dynamic immediately, which is like, crabby old guy,
Young hotshot on the rig. Yeah.
Yeah. Who is of course sleeping with his daughter, played by Liv Tyler. Grace finds
Yes.
her in the bunk with him. Great little oil rig chase scene with the shotgun and stuff. So like I like this goes back. The simplicity of this is like, okay, like we got the angry old man, the daughter, the hot. We get
The daughter that doesn't like her dad. She calls him Harry. She doesn't call him dad.
She calls him
He's
Harry
like-
like 20 times in the span of this one scene.
Yeah, and then starts calling him dad.
I have asked
but-
you several times
to
call me dad.
Yeah.
So she like works for the oil company as like an office administrator, whatever. Works with the
clients
Yeah. Who do some Asian clients come on board to
Administrative extraordinaire. That's what we're gonna call her.
She-
She seems to do it all.
yeah. But she's pissed because they don't get along or whatever, and he has no right to whatever dictate her relationship.
She's a grown woman. Yeah.
she's old enough to drink. She's old enough to
Yeah.
drive. She's old enough to vote.
This is kind of like the human element within the disaster movie that we always talk about, where Oddly, I don't find this one very strong. And I was reading that the romance here with Ben Affleck and Liv Tyler was not in the original script until Titanic came out. And they were like, oh.
We got to do something.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah.
we got to get some smoochy in here.
It feels a little forced, too. You can kind of tell.
The animal crackers.
Yeah.
We'll get to the animal crackers, buddy. We'll get to it. But they even have the song. They even have like, oh, we did the Celine Dion and Titanic. We gotta have a song. We did get a good song out of it.
Yeah.
So Aerosmith.
Mm-hmm. But so I don't love this. I don't love the little triple dynamic between them and everything. But I don't hate it enough to like consider it a huge strike against the movie. I think it's just because everybody else is so funny. But like these three, I don't particularly care for their arc a whole lot. Whatever, you know.
As a first-time watcher, it drew me in immediately. Like I was in it because I just feel like that scene is very, especially the chasing him with a shotgun, hilarious because you also have like Buscemi and Patton
Blows up half the ring
and
doing it.
Bear.
You get
like,
the chaos of
like,
what it's
It
like.
is.
on
It
the-
is
yeah.
effective at introducing like the supporting
so
cast.
like for that, like taking it all in, if you account everything else, it was very like in it, you know, because
Yeah.
I feel like we don't see a lot of oil rig mechanics.
It's the premise of it, of like getting drillers to go up and drill an asteroid.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy. That's a good original.
It's a harebrained idea.
Yeah. Well, it's a Wile E. Coyote idea, as they get into. But apparently Ben Affleck would like talk to Michael Bay and be like, wouldn't it be easier to teach astronauts how to drill than teach drillers how to be astronauts? And Michael Bay eventually was like, shut up. Stop.
Well, they even touch on that too.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, a lot of people have said that too, just about, that's their biggest gripe with it. But I mean, they talk about it in the movie as to why
Yeah.
I mean, whether or not that makes sense to you or not.
But
They have
Bruce
a
Willis
line, yeah.
says that, he says this to Billy Bob. He's like, drilling is an art, it's a science. You have to work with it. Like you have to.
These guys have been learning 8 months, and so
Yeah.
You have to know your ground. You have to know your pieces. You have to know your parts. And they kind of prove it too with the way that they tear apart the NASA built drill.
Yeah, they do a good job of convincing you that these guys,
you guys don't know what they're doing.
Yeah. And Michael Bay, I think he does have a good streak for that, of always standing up for the working man and painting them in a good light in his movies. It's credit where it's due there. NASA's going over the ideas of like, how are we going to do this thing? A couple of these scientists come up with ideas that are like not great. And then
We get it's not Billy Bob, it's Lucius Malfoy.
Jason Isaacs, yeah.
Thanks.
Quincy, I think, is the guy's name.
Telling the general.
Keith David, yeah. Because Keith David is like, the president just wants to nuke it. Just nuke it from orbit.
Well,
just
the
send a
president's
nuke.
advisor is telling him, telling him to just go ahead and nuke it. And he goes, I went to school. I think it was MIT.
School with that
yeah.
guy. Yeah.
With that guy. And I wouldn't be taking advice from somebody who got a C- in astrophysics. And I was like, yo.
What I like is that like a scene or two later, he also gets his like ass handed to him by Harry.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's kind of a domino effect of just like, you don't know what you're talking about. No, you don't know what you're talking about, and so on. But he basically tells him like nuking it's not gonna. That's just gonna explode it into even more chunks that are still gonna come at us. You need to blow it up from the inside out in order to like divert the path or what bullshit science.
No, there's actual physics in there.
I'm sure there maybe are. I don't know. But whatever gets us on the damn asteroid. So they keep trying to find who the best driller is. And who comes up? Harry Stamper. So this is all taking place in a very short amount of time too. Like the clients show up and then the military shows up.
Yeah, very, very quick.
Very quick.
And what does he say? He's like, Bruce Willis is like, did Wild Bill put you up to this or whatever it is? It's
Oh,
like,
no,
sir,
Crazy Willie.
Crazy Willie.
Crazy Willie.
Crazy Willie.
Crazy Willie put you up to this?
And
I don't know, Crazy Willie, sir.
They have so much fun with it, man. So he fires Ben Affleck and takes Liv along with him to go talk to the government and stuff.
And they don't even tell him what they're taking him for.
No.
And you also get the cut to Buscemi's character that says he's
Doesn't age well.
he thinks that the Air Force is just coming to basically take him into custody for relations.
Tell her I didn't know how old she was.
Yeah, tell her I didn't know how old she was.
He's like, no, this one's on me, bro.
Yeah.
Well, they're not
And
here
he's
for
like,
me?
oh, never mind.
Oh, yeah.
Forget you heard that.
Yeah.
I feel bad for Buscemi because the other thing I was reading, I was doing my trivia run for this, and he wanted the role because he thought, and they kind of get into it, where like he was supposed to be a very smart geologist character, and they kind of have some moments there where he's kind of the science guy of the squad, you know.
He does his little Bill Nye bit.
Yeah, but he was kind of like, oh, you mean I don't get to be like a skeevy sleazeball in this one? Cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then he got there, and they were like, so.
Yeah, about that.
You're still gonna do that too.
Yeah. So, but I mean, I like seeing him in this. Or before all this happens, though, too, the driller does blow because of AJ setting it off and everything. And so then we have kind of another little action sequence in between here where AJ screws up, things go haywire, and Harry yells at him.
Harry ends up saving it.
Yeah.
Is the point there?
I don't know what he does, but they act like he's a badass. He's like, good job, Harry, thumbs up. And he's like, yeah, all right.
Well, because they struck oil. That was they had been drilling. They hadn't struck in oil
yeah.
yet, and so that's why the clients are all happy because they're rich now. So
Regardless
Gotcha.
of the fact that they're covered in oil.
right, exactly. They're covered in money.
Liquid gold.
Yep.
You.
Okay. All right.
You.
The real Viserys Targaryen situation. For
God.
Game of Thrones.
It really
fans.
was.
Yeah. We get to NASA. Harry's talking with, is debriefed basically by Billy Bob Thornton, is telling him, like, here's the deal. The asteroid's coming. You need to drill inside it. Shows him the NASA team and is like, you need to train these boys. Shows him the drill that they're going to attach to this thing, which Harry designed.
Yeah, so they snuck into the patent office and stole his patent for this drill that Harry designs.
Yeah, he really asked them if they did that. And they
and
were
then
like,
he was like,
yeah.
pretty much.
I can do whatever I want, basically. And he looks at it and says, this isn't even close to correct. So they don't even know how to assemble it. So
But this is where he shits on the
NASA.
scientist guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like, because the drill's all built wrong too,
Mm-hmm.
which is kind of, the script's doing a lot to make him like the smartest guy in the room here. Kind of like what you were saying last time with Dante's Peak. This one, I think, shits on NASA way more.
yeah,
You know,
you guys don't know.
But NASA shits on itself here. So it's
historically,
a little bit,
yes.
So it's a little bit more credible. It's a little bit better.
Yeah, no, the government, this one is very much like big wigs in the government versus like the working man who knows how
How it
machines
actually
work.
works. Well,
Yeah.
it's like the
You got
executives.
soft hands, boy.
That was a good pull.
Good pull, buddy.
No, literally, because it's you got your executives upstairs basically, who aren't even in the room for the decision making. Honestly, like the president is not in the room for this, which as he shouldn't be. But also, he's still calling shots from
Through the general
less
and stuff,
competent advisors than those that are in the room of the people actually like trying to get things done. And then you have your middle managers, and then you still have your actual working class out on the asteroid.
Yeah.
And they're begging to just
To trust us.
to have a fucking chance,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is insane. This was stupidly stressful, but also in the same way that we were upset with Dante's Peak because nobody listened to anybody competent.
I'm less upset.
I'm less
in this
upset
one.
because this one they like eventually listen.
I think it's good that it's a team too. That it's not just Bruce Willis who kind of knows what he's talking. Because even
Right.
Ben Affleck, who kind of, it turns out you can kind of depend on him in the end.
Yeah.
And he also has a couple good moments where he does problem solve pretty well.
Right.
So it's not like Dante's Peak where it's just Pierce the whole time who like we're depending on to save us. It's the wealth is shared
Yes.
a little more consistently, I think.
Yeah. So
that's
competency is across the team.
Right. It's just almost none of it is on NASA's side. So like going back to Apollo 13, where like that one is like the people on the shuttle kind of are knowing what they're doing, and the people on the ground are knowing what they're doing. again, like wealth is shared kind of equally. This one is very much like Bruce Willis is the only one that knows how to do, and his people are it. So it feels a little forced, but it's entertaining. I keep going back to like, I'm laughing. I'm having a good time, whatever.
And that's kind of what he touches on too. They show him the crew that they've assembled at NASA, and he says, we've been training these guys for, I think he says 8 months on how to drill. And he's like, sir, I've been doing this for 30 years, so so 8 months ain't no time.
And he was like, and I still don't know
everything. And I still don't know everything that I'm doing. Exactly. Yeah. So he's like, if anybody's going to drill this hole, it's going to be me and my men.
You are the good.
So that's how they touch on, with everybody's issues about, why don't we just teach astronauts? We tried that, is basically what they say. It's still not good enough, whether or not that is a good observation, that he does have the humility to at least say, like, I don't know. I don't know. So that is a good. But I'm your best bet. Is and these are my guys.
Somebody said that I was the best in the world.
Yeah, he said you heard from somebody that I'm the best in the world. Yeah.
Yeah. So we get to the crew. So he pulls the crew, which includes some that we've already met. We've got Bear, Michael Clark Duncan, who is being chased across the fields of Kansas or somewhere.
Awesome shot. Awesome shot.
It is the full convoy.
Because it's like the American flag, like. Fringe biker vest. Yeah. It's not just a biker's vest. It's a fringe biker's vest, just blowing in the breeze.
What does he say?
Like, he
said, "Come and get the bear," or something.
Papa Bear.
Come and get me, Papa. Come and get the Papa Bear.
Yeah.
Great stuff. We get Max, who's kind of our heavy mama's boy.
Yes.
Who kind of becomes our pilot of the driller later on.
Yes.
So he's in there. We've got Rockhound, Steve Buscemi, who's our horny genius.
Yeah, they're like, we call him that because he's fucking horny.
Well, you see him doing the geology thing because he's inspecting a wedding ring of a chick he's trying to pick up or
in
whatever.
A bar in New Orleans.
Yeah. We got Oscar, who's our rancher, Owen Wilson. Great to see him. Also a good shot of just him riding the horse against the sunset and stuff like that.
How is the horse not spooked by the helicopters? That was my first thought, but it made for a good shot. There's
so many pointlessly pretty shots like that. You know what I mean? Where it's just you've been I want the sunset. I want a horse against the sunset. I want it to last 5 seconds. You know what I mean? So I don't know. The credit where it's due, to where every little frame you can get is going to look good at least.
Right.
We get Chick, who's kind of our right-hand man. Played by, what was it?
Will Patton.
And who's
they at the craps table in Las Vegas.
Yep. And finally AJ, who Bruce goes to recruit himself
because he knows that he has to.
Says he needs him.
He needs him.
He's only man as good as I am. Yeah. They have also a pretty scene of where it's kind of sunset, and he's working on some other rig or whatever in the middle of the desert or whatever it is. This is weird. I didn't understand this scene because Bruce is Affleck has his little snark here where he's I want you to say 5 words. AJ, you're the best. I want you to come with me. I need you.
And I love you.
I love you. Whatever. Yeah, he just goes on and on. But Bruce just kind of gives up halfway through, and then somehow or another he teases him into coming along or whatever.
So what about that? Did you understand?
Well, I didn't. Well, it's just it seemed like Ben Affleck kind of had all the cards in that situation, and somehow Bruce still walks away with on top. I don't know.
No. When it opened and he hadn't caught that his daughter was in the bed yet, but he was trying to get AJ to admit that he was wrong for leaving the drill on all night or whatever.
Yeah.
He was I want you to say 5 words. And he's
was it a callback then?
Yeah, it was okay. I'll never do this again or something like that.
He's that's 6 words, yeah. And
then, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think they did it 3 times total throughout the...
Yeah,
Gotcha.
And then at the very end, you get the last 5-word thing.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's good. Good little thread.
Yeah, you just had to pay attention.
I was not. It was such a pretty sunset.
It was a pretty sunset. Wow.
So we get the crew. Very funny hard cut here to the crew all around the table, and they're "Oh, we're gonna die."
Yeah, because they get picked up for this by the FBI. Most of them. Bruce is not coming to explain. So this feels very, I don't know. It feels very you need a warrant type thing.
Where are you taking me?
Yeah. So they hard cut to them at the table being okay, why are we here?
Yeah. Bruce breaks it down for him and kind of gives him like, listen, I can't ask you to do anything, you know.
He kind of does it Clooney style too.
It's very Ocean's 11. This whole first act is very much we're getting the crew together, we're getting everybody, whatever, and like they all got their little quirks, and it's good. The thing is like it's you know,
it lands.
Yeah, it lands. They're all on board.
Yeah, Chick tells him, he said, I've never turned down a job from...
I ain't about to start now.
Yeah, I'm about to start now.
I kind of wish one of them did. I wish we got like just because it's the type of movie where it would work, where like one of them was like, I can't. And then like a scene or two later,
he shows up. The door opens and it's,
yeah.
Oh, we knew he'd show up. Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like that.
You could have got one of those. Yeah.
It's almost missing it to me. It's almost like
Gruber could have done that.
You could have done it with AJ even, like, you know, with them firing him. And then,
have a scene in between with him
where
and
he actually does show up.
Or have a scene where Liv is like I need you to go with my dad. I need you to look at whatever, you know, something to like meet.
That sells the romance better.
Yeah, just meeting it up a little bit. So that would have been good. Because I did find it a little odd that all of them were just immediately on board.
Yeah, we're about their beans. They were just, but I also they did it true with the high stakes. They're like, well, we kind of got to. So
true.
We're gonna die regardless.
Yeah, this is our team, and you know that's how they operate.
Yeah,
they all die for each other. So
three musketeers rule.
Yeah. One for all.
All for one.
Did you ever see the Mickey, Donald, and Goofy cartoon of that? You remember that one? That was good. That was good.
That's whenever I think of the Three Musketeers. That's all I think about.
I don't think of like anybody.
Candy bar
I don't think of it as an original story that was written back however long ago that was. I just think of the Disney animated.
It's not a classic. Yeah. It's a Disney classic.
Yeah. Wow. Crazy. Anyway. So we get the crew's demands here. Also good, funny scene.
All very in tune with how they were picked up.
Yeah. What does Bear want to do? Stay in the White House.
He wants to
stay in the White House for the summer.
Yeah, in the Lincoln bedroom for the summer.
It's like a summer camp for him.
Yeah.
Got some unpaid parking tickets, 56 tickets in 7 states for Owen Wilson.
Because he's an outlaw.
Yeah, because he's a brown cowboy.
And no taxes.
No taxes.
No taxes for anybody ever.
Right. And find out who killed JFK.
Yeah, that was the other thing. Anyway, you guys wouldn't be able to tell us who killed JFK.
This is great. I love Bruce Willis is actually great in this scene. I love watching him like look up and be like, I got it. You know, he does great. He is a great straight man. Like he is just a great like normal dude. I think it was very smart that they did surround him with a bunch of wackadoodles, like this crew.
I got my head on straight, and everybody else.
He's the corraler.
It really sells him as a leader.
The gang.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and this is like a scene that I think does that pretty well. Then we get to the crew's medical evaluations.
Oh my god!
And psych evaluations. Also a fun little montage here.
This made my head spin a little bit, but I also realized that it was minor in the grand scheme of things. Mm-hmm. But basically, TLDR, nobody's fit for this shit.
Yep. This is where you find out Pashimi is his brains. You can't tell if he's joking or being serious. He's like, oh yeah, I went to him. I got 2 doctorates at MIT when I was 18.
Big whoop.
And then taught at Princeton for 2 years.
Why do I do this? I get to travel.
Yeah.
See the sights.
I get to blow shit up.
Yeah. He's like, the scenery's always changing. Yeah. All right.
And they let me blow things up.
Yeah.
He's looking at the
and he just looks crazy when he does it.
Yeah.
I love he's just solving the Rubik's puzzle.
And he does it too. Yeah. So maybe he is. Yeah.
Like one-handed, pretty much.
He's having a great time in this movie, man.
It seems though the way that he's presenting. I told y'all this while we were watching it. It seems like he's like the Murdoch character from the A-Team, which whether it's the original that you watched, like the original TV show, or the
weird 2000s movie, whatever,
with
Liam Neeson.
Liam Neeson, yeah. Either way, same vibes, where he's just fucking insane,
crazy but competent.
But he also like sometimes he says sane things.
Yeah. Well, we find out he's very right. It's a shame he gets that damn space dementia. But yeah, so it turns out that like none of them are fit for this psychologically or some of them are too big. They say like they're like loaded up with.
Yeah, take a horse tranquilizer. Did y'all catch the Mr. Ed reference to that?
Oh no.
So for Mama's Boy, he when they were pulling out the needle for him, he was like, "Are you gonna stick?" He's like, "Is that the same needle y'all use for Mr. Ed? And if you're gonna stick that in me, that's not gonna work or whatever." But that was a reference to Mr. Ed, the black and white talking horse.
Yeah, classic. Yeah. Also referenced in, I believe, Animaniacs. There's some Animaniacs song where they talk about Mr. Ed or something like that.
And I am Mr. Ed.
The other funny one there was the nurse who chick is like, "Listen, I just came here to drill, lady."
She's
like, "I did too."
So did I. A lot of good. This is also classic Michael Bay stuff where it's just like, haha, haha tits, haha stuff up your ass.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, okay. Unfortunately, I'm like,
it hits. Yeah.
Exactly.
Some of it, it's stupid funny, but it hits.
So much of it is stupid funny. Let's see. We're sitting at kind of our halfway mark as we get here.
Just pretty much set up to start
training and then take off.
Yeah.
So we'll break here, and then when we come back, we're lifting off.
No.
We're gonna meet some Russians, drill some asteroids, lose some pals along the way.
Yeah.
Wow.
Rip.
Driller, I hardly know her.
All right, we'll be back.
Leaving on a jet plane. Don't know when I'll be back again. But we're back now.
That was good.
From the break. Thank you. You weren't ready for this, were you?
I got no notice, nothing.
Nope. We're back with Armageddon, where we're picking up now with the crew. We meet Colonel Sharp, who kind of becomes a bit of a villain later, played by William Fichtner, who comes back, I think, with kind of Michael Bay. I think he plays not Shredder, but like a guy who was supposed to be Shredder in the new
Ninja Turtles. Yeah.
I haven't seen those. Did you see those?
I did. Yeah, I watched them about a year ago again.
They pretty good.
They are. Yeah. I mean, they're okay. As good as you can make the new live-action Ninja Turtles compared to the old ones. So they're more like Beastie in the new ones. So
that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. I know we got I think Bebop and Rocksteady in the second one and Krang and everything.
Yeah.
That second one seems like it goes kind of more all out.
Yeah.
Which seems a little fun.
And you get Megan Fox again. So
of course,
Michael Bay.
Neat.
This is reuse and repeat.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Perfect.
Old reliable. She's got a new movie coming out where she's like a sexy robot or something. Y'all seen that?
I have not. I will.
Yeah, same.
But we meet him, Colonel Sharp, and the rest of the crew. Watts, who's our secret MVP.
Yes.
Gruber,
Big fan.
who dies and no one
Gruber.
gives a shit
Poor
about.
Gruber.
Go home, Grouper.
Are you doing like Goob?
Yeah.
Meet the Robinsons?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody hated me.
They all hated me. But we meet all them. We see them do all these exercises and stuff to get the underwater anti-gravity thing, all the suit training.
And the only thing that's substantial that comes out of this is that we have the simulation of the drill that AJ is convinced is wrong.
Yeah, he does. It's too sciencey, too drilly for me. I don't follow exactly what he is doing wrong.
Yeah, so it essentially sounds like and it kind of comes back later, but they're drilling too hard and they're telling him to let off, their RPM, so they're going too fast, and he's, saying to keep applying the pressure to keep drilling this hole.
Yeah.
Transmission gives out and drill breaks, basically, is kind of what it sounds like. And that's what the simulation shows, is that, it's going to happen, right? And he's, you have them telling him not to, so.
Yeah.
But he's like, trust me, I know what I'm doing.
Right.
I know how this goes.
Yeah. That's the whole point, is we're drillers, don't listen to their science. We know how it really is in that field.
Yes, you guys loved his line here where they pull him out of the water or whatever. Bruce Willis goes to chew him out, and what does he say?
I got it.
Oh, I forgot.
With
all of his teeth showing.
Yeah.
Apparently, the reason I bring this up is because I was reading the thing. He did get new teeth.
I was
for
wondering
this
that.
role.
I was thinking he got new veneers or something.
Yeah, he did.
Yes.
Like Michael Bay was like, I don't like how your teeth look. You need new teeth for this.
His teeth were replaced.
which is crazy.
8 hours a day in a dentist chair for a week.
What a sticking point. The other funny thing, weird through line, behind the scenes through line here. Steve Buscemi was like, I also kind of want to get new teeth for this, if that's okay. And Michael Bay was like, no, you don't need them. You have a a smile.
You notice
Steve
those
Buscemi.
too later whenever they're riding back on the spaceship.
That's how you know which one Buscemi is.
Yeah.
Because everybody's eyes is bugging out.
Yeah.
Well, his are always bugging out.
But it's the teeth.
Yeah. So, strange choice there. But anyway, but his teeth, he's all, I got it. So they have their little argument there. They're also like tearing apart the armadillo, the thing that actually carries the driller.
We don't need this. We don't need that.
He's like, what is this? A $400 ice cream scoop? Like,
Yeah.
So we see them like in action, and then we get to Truman's. Truman has a good line here where he's showing him a model of like the flight plan. And he's like, hold your laughter. This isn't to scale.
And it's 2 giant kid toys like space
Rocket
shuttles.
ship,
Yeah.
around like a beach ball Earth.
Yeah.
This feels like every other joke is pretty on the nose. This one actually feels like an This is like, very clever.
Right.
Like, it's like kind of the smartest joke we've had so far almost. So he shows them the flight plan where basically they're going to take liftoff, refuel at the Russian space station, do a slingshot around the moon using the moon's gravity. Also, I think they do in Apollo 13. Curious. And then they will land behind, take the asteroid from behind, land on it, drill, go home, big boom. What?
Nothing.
Nothing. You just said take it from behind. So.
And that's what no, Steve Buscemi and I think Max have a look where they look at each other like,
Yeah. Right. They do. Shit, yeah.
take it from behind.
And they're gonna reach 22,000 miles per hour and hit 12 Gs or whatever.
What? Yeah.
So
We'll see it. It's fun. And then we get awkward as fuck scene where AJ and Grace are canoodling in one of the shuttle engines.
Yeah. In what Shuttle Bay, it seems like.
Yeah, but they're posted up like in one of the things or whatever.
In the thruster.
Bruce Willis comes and watches them. This is very uncomfy.
It feels because I asked you guys while we were sitting there. I was like, why is he just standing there?
Well, not even that, but just like Ben Affleck just like kissing her back and stuff. Like it just lingers on it for a minute too long.
Well, it was,
It doesn't get better. We're about to get to the animal crackers.
And to set up for the next thing.
He proposes to her like in this moment or whatever too. I guess the problem with him is like I don't see why she likes him. Like, they just start together.
He says so. Bruce Willis says so.
Says you have a lack of...
he's the only other person in your age bracket.
Yeah, you have a lack of options.
Yeah. That's the whole reason she chose him.
Exactly. But
it moved quick for them. 5 months. Hey, but that's how it goes sometimes.
On the rig. Yeah.
When you know.
That's that rigger life.
Yeah. Yeah. Harry talks with the boys, who are all like, "Your dad is hot."
Yeah.
This is not our fault. This is not his fault either.
Which I think is there. But then Michael Clark Duncan is like, "We're all a bunch of daddies."
Yeah, we're all father to us.
We're all, yeah. And meanwhile, like Steve Buscemi's like, "She's a babe."
Yeah.
Like, okay, all right.
Yeah, because I could see maybe Chick
is absolutely a dad. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Real dad energy from Chick.
Yeah, Chick and Bear
And
for
Bear.
sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Buscemi, no.
Buscemi's a creepy uncle.
Well, he taught her to use tampons.
Maybe the most reliable.
Maybe the most influential.
But yeah, so they're all like, she's a grown woman, she can make her own decisions, blah blah blah. You kind of get the idea that like Bruce Willis sees himself in AJ and is like, I just don't want her to fall in love with a rig like a roughneck, like her mother.
Like me, basically.
Like me, yeah. Well, it's that whole.
Which you see all the guys' faces. It like cuts to the guys' faces after he says that, and they're just kind of like, "So what? Like we're shit.
We
like,
suck." Yeah.
So
They
he
do.
He kind of just kind of swallows that one down.
Yeah.
We don't really like talk about it.
Before we get to the crew night prior to the mission,
Mm-hmm.
Bruce Willis kind of negotiates with NASA, and he's like, give them a night on the town. This is the last time they're ever going to be able to do anything.
Proper send-off.
This is where we get. Aerosmith comes in. Don't want to close my eyes.
No,
Don't want to fall asleep because I miss you, baby. Don't want to miss a thing. Animal crackers. Again, a beautiful sunset shot here of like them posted up on the thing. And Ben Affleck is doing his best crocodile hunter.
Discovery Channel bit. Yeah.
Yeah, he's doing
He's doing a little Steve Dundee.
It is a bit. He's doing a bit.
He's got animal cracker riz.
Crocodile Dundee. Oh, no.
Yeah. Down under. He's just sliding them in their shorts there.
Does the cheetah go south or north?
Onto the
mountains.
onto the peaks.
Yeah, over the
It's
peaks.
like,
Yeah.
all
Get
right.
us out of here. Yeah.
I guess we see what she's. Yeah, I see it. Do you remember this being parodied in the Office episode with the spy episode, the Michael Scarn
I don't
episode?
know.
There's a scene in there where he does the animal cracker bit on like Jan or someone or whatever.
I didn't even, whenever we rewatched it, I didn't even recall this scene as much.
You blocked it out.
Really?
Yeah, I think my child memory just was like, oh, cool, space, you know? And then I just blocked out the animal crackers. And now they've since returned those, unfortunately. So.
It's a strange little fan servicey kind of supposed to be. I don't know. But again, whatever. We get the Aerosmith music video out of it. We get to Rockhound and the boys at the strip club as well, who are basically
First of all, he takes a $100,000 loan out from a loan shark.
yeah. What is he? He's like, you're not going to die on me, are you? He's like, no more than you are.
Yeah, so.
Great bit.
Mm-hmm.
He pisses off some dudes at the thing by basically hogging all the action.
Yep.
Gets arrested.
We're astronauts.
Yes, you see.
I swear, call NASA, the FBI, the CIA, everybody will collaborate on this.
I like that the other guys who they get in a fight with, they're also like, yeah, we're all astronauts.
Yeah.
Again, it's funny. Like it is genuinely funny. We also get Chick. This is kind of why I think he's the best actor of the bunch. Mm-hmm. Chick visiting his wife. Again, it's kind of like a forced little like we need arcs, we need some emotional stakes in here or whatever. So you kind of have Harry's stuff with like his daughter and AJ.
It's
and then,
not as faked as Dante's Peak.
No, it still works. Don't get me wrong. It's cheesy. It gets very cheesy here in a moment, but it does work. I think that a lot of that is Patton's acting here.
Oh, sure.
Where he just plays like depressed dad whose child doesn't know who he is. His mom comes out and is like, that's a salesman, get inside. And whatever. And he gives him a little astronaut or a little shuttle toy to remember him by.
Which is also kind of corny too. Just
Yeah.
make sure he has this. Like it's nothing like from his like past. Like
it's something he got at the NASA gift shop.
Yeah. Like
there was definitely at that time like we had like the little planes. Did y'all get those when y'all traveled? Like the little model planes.
I remember getting them at like the Naval Air Station, like at the
museum.
like in the
Yeah.
gift, like after a school field trip or something.
Oh yeah.
Definitely
like
a museum
toy
gift.
Yeah.
For sure.
But yeah, very corny.
Yeah.
So presumably they break them all out of jail and everything.
We don't see that.
I feel like it's kind of implied because they do get broken out and everything. That like word leaks out that the asteroid is the world finds out basically.
Well, they find out when the president calls like a.
No, they find out from Shanghai.
Yeah, it hits.
Right,
It hits Asia, and they're like, "Should we warn Asia?" And he's like, "How the hell are you going to do that in the next 30 seconds?" Basically.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
From there, it just kind of leaks out, and everybody starts looking
then
at
they
it.
have the conference about it.
Yeah, Truman.
They have to.
Right, Truman and Harry have a good scene here where we kind of get Truman's backstory, where he kind of has like a leg brace.
Yes.
And this was all Billy Bob Thornton's.
So I
idea.
don't know if you know that, but but that's NASA had before we had the powered exoskeletons for NASA, they had passive ones, and that brace looks like it's a passive one to help him move normally. It's not just a brace.
Gotcha.
And so like the passive ones are just kind of like mechanical release. I don't know how exactly it works, but it was like a mechanical release to be able to sort of bend your like knee for you.
Oh, okay.
as opposed to having your muscles do it.
Okay.
So I think that, and so that it could also be load bearing in that way. So that's what that was showing.
What I was reading was that he didn't really have much of a back. He was just kind of like the NASA guy. But Billy Bob Thornton was like, what if he was telling Michael Bay, and he was like, what if he like wanted to be an astronaut, but he got like career-ending nerve damage, and that's why. And he kind of references this. It doesn't make it all the way into the movie, but like it's the chief elements of it over there, where he's like, I wanted one of those arm patches. If I could be up there with you, Harry, I would. Whatever.
Important.
Yeah, I like their little chemistry here. Like he and Bruce Willis have a good like mutual respect and understanding and stuff. Like I buy that relationship.
Well, yeah, because that's the only guy that'll level with him too.
Truly is like one ally within the system, so to speak. Yeah, for sure. Harry goes to meet with Grace as well. They kind of reconcile out at like sort of like the Apollo 1 memorial, which I don't know if you guys know that NASA lore of Apollo 1.
You.
Okay, so it gets a strange kind of shout out here because like at the end of the scene when they're talking or whatever, it zooms in on that plaque. This was supposed to be one of the first like manned space flight missions or whatever. Like I don't know if it was supposed to go to the moon or whatever, but it's certainly part of the Apollo line, obviously. But the 3 guys who were supposed to go on out were doing like a test simulation thing just in like the pod or whatever. Thing like had an electrical fire. They all burned alive inside. So it was a big scandal because it's like Cold War era, space race bullshit, so it was very much like, oh, NASA sucks. Like their first big team, like all like died alive. Awful. They do a very good scene of it in the movie First Man with Gosling.
Oh, okay.
Ryan Gosling plays Neil Armstrong. Yeah, Neil Armstrong. I said Lance. Typical.
Different Armstrong.
So anyway, so kind of like in a historical little reference to this scene is like, because she's worried he's going to die basically because of NASA failures, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And to kind of button that, they kind of reference the Apollo 1 thing. Doesn't really make sense. It's like, okay, like I guess we're going to reference a tragedy to foreshadow his death basically is kind of the implication I'm getting from it.
I got you.
But she's like, promise me you'll come back. And he's, I promise. So whatever, they make up. Does this feel rushed to you guys?
Yeah, but at the same time,
we've been setting up for we spent so much like getting to know them, trusting that they were doing what they were doing, which I appreciate after Dante's Peak. I think maybe if I had not seen Dante's Peak prior to this, I would be like, this took forever. But it just was competent in the way that it went about it. So I was okay with
like their relationship though. I mean, they're making up though is kind of what I'm talking about is like, does that feel a little too fast to you?
Well,
I think too.
The world's gonna end.
Yeah. I think time's of the essence to him, and then also, I mean, he probably heard what all his boys had to say too, and it's not like he's been told things that make him now.
Yeah, it's not out of nowhere.
See eye to eye with what her growing up and being her own person and everything. So
yeah, I guess that makes sense. There's enough setup for me to like, I thought this too. Now that we're about to kind of hit the liftoff stuff, that this whole first act dragged a little longer than I remembered it dragging. But you guys were like, thought it moved pretty well.
Yeah. Well, I was in it just because I hadn't seen it before. But also there wasn't any particular moment where I was like, why are we doing this?
It all felt pretty, like all the montages and everything and introductions felt pretty necessary and stuff. Yeah. There's nothing I can like think of to like really
cut.
Like you could cut some of those montages down a bit, but that's not going to impact the runtime in any significant way. There's no scene. If anything, I would add scenes like we were saying earlier where like you have a guy who like leaves and comes back or something like that. So I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. We get to leaving on a jet plane. They're all fixing to you lost it at the scene, Ash.
It was because he's just like staring into her eyes and then singing. It's so
it was cringe at first, but then it becomes one of the more memorable.
But guys being dudes type scene. Yeah. He's just a lot of PDA, I think. Like Ben Affleck just has a lot of PDA in this one. Yeah. It's just like he's like forehead to forehead type shit.
Well, because he's usually a stoic actor.
Well, that's how we think of him now. I think that's the thing is looking back at he's Batman or whatever. You know what I mean?
He's Batman. He's the accountant.
Yeah. He's become a real dramatic guy. And so looking back on these,
him being a goofy dude is just not.
It's bizarre. Yeah, it's weird to look back on.
Well, because like you also have the smoking meme where he's just like,
It's still burnt out.
Yeah. But you have the people above while you're singing the
Yeah.
leaving on a jet plane, and they look down and
Keith David is
he's
like,
like, this is really, these are our guys. Like, kind of deal. Like,
yeah, you do
like,
have the moment of levity there.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
so it kind of shows you like, okay, yeah, this is so stupid.
this is dumb, right? It's
this is so dumb. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the whole movie's that way, where like it's very self-aware.
Yeah.
That it's silly. It knows what it is and it owns what it is. In a way that I think a lot of other disaster movies maybe don't, where they kind of try and play everything really seriously.
Yeah.
I like this one has a lot of laughs to break up the intensity and stuff, so that I don't have to sit in it. I don't have to be like, this is kind of silly. It's like the movie knows it's silly.
Right.
Good stuff. They're getting ready to board and everything. We get the president's speech here, which this wants to be Independence Day so bad is the vibe I get. It wants to be that like that speech. It wants to be one of the great movie speeches to me. It doesn't land. I'm just kind of like, I get it.
Well, the first line kind of lands for me, but that's where it ends.
Do we? Can I pull it up?
I address you tonight. You want to read it?
you do your best. I don't have it pulled up.
Okay.
Want to do your best presidential speech?
Jesus Christ, here we go. I address you tonight, not as the President of the United States, not as the leader of a country, but as a citizen of humanity. Which, like...
That's, yeah.
All right, cool.
Like we were saying earlier,
Great opening statement.
where we cut to like every country, and they do it here too, where like we see like the French peasants in the field, and
yeah, with the sheep,
the poor Indian children, whatever, you know.
Everybody's like just as tuned into
the
a
one
radio.
black kid with the radio or whatever is like looking up at the sky. Yeah,
No, we ticked all the boxes on this one.
It's so dramatic. It's so over dramatic.
I think it gets lost because we're doing so much as far as like verbiage wise. He's doing so much in the speech.
It's a good like the message of it where like science can prevail. I like that. I like the core of that, and like we as humanity are united in a common cause towards defeating things with science. Good stuff. But I think it's we cut to this very funny, lighthearted moment to this very heavily dramatic, inspirational moment. It's a tone thing. I think is more like kind of my criticism with it.
For sure.
But we get to the launch, which I think we were reading that like all the shots of like the actual like shuttle launches and stuff was also real shit that he shot.
Yes.
And you can tell.
Yeah.
This looks great.
Like is it smoke? The hydrogen? It's
Sure,
hydrogen.
Sure.
Yeah.
Coming off the... I did science in school. I know what I'm doing. Coming off is just a very awe-inspiring just phenomenon, really.
It works. At the end, it's like human achievement.
Yeah. No, it is. It is.
It's good stuff. It looks pretty. Like, I don't know. There's no other way to say it. It's very good. We make it up. And they have Owen Wilson has a good line here where he's like, we're in space. On the beginning part of space.
Yeah, he says we're not far enough out to be in outer space. Yeah.
Well, before he's like, strap me in. I don't want to fall out.
Yeah. He's got some good one-liners.
Which is actually, I just remembered.
Yeah.
That's a good foreshadow.
Strap me in. Yeah, I don't want to fall out.
Fuck.
Oh, no.
And then later, but he had issues with his mask too. So
right, but I definitely think it's
yeah,
his chair
goes
goes
till y'all said that.
Yeah, that's a good
5 stars.
Good pull. Yeah.
Man, that's crazy. So they dock at the Russian station. We meet our boy Lev, played by Peter Stormare. Hello, Americans. I am not gas station. I am Russian hero. You listen to me.
Don't touch anything.
Don't touch anything. I need one. You come with me. So he's definitely has the space madness where he's.
But like, still, he's present. He's like, he's just.
Yeah.
I think he's just crazy.
He's great. They didn't need to do this. Is the thing. This is the whole like stopping at the space station and stuff. That's a chapter you can kind of it would have been easy to say like, oh, the rocket has enough fuel to get you there and back.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like we don't like we would have bought it as the audience. Yeah, sure, all right.
You got to show the solidarity of because this is the
The
90s,
space community.
with the Cold War is just now breaking.
It collapsed and everything, or it's
Yeah.
collapsing or whatever. Yeah.
So you got to show that we're cool with Russia right now.
You also needed an action sequence.
Yeah.
Is the thing too? Is like it definitely feels like they can't just get there.
And land on the asteroid.
yeah,
like,
no.
we
You got to
need a
have
little-
some things.
Could have something to break it up. Yeah.
It's a good pacing. It does work. I actually love this sequence. Russian guy takes AJ down with him to set off the fuel injector or whatever it is. Gives him some shitty fucking instructions. AJ fucks it up again. He fucks everything up until the very end.
I don't
everything
believe
he
this was
touches.
his fault.
Yeah, I don't think this one was on him.
He didn't. We stand AJ right now.
Okay.
Mans was doing what he was told, which he was given shitty instructions.
And he was trying to communicate with them.
And
up above,
nobody was
Nobody can hear him.
He's
So
like they couldn't hear him, and they
Alright,
weren't paying
alright.
attention to the screens.
that might
because
be old girl's fault up in the booth. That we think is our rock holding down. She can't even get the comms going for our boy AJ.
Fair enough.
True,
So
true.
Fair enough. Okay. So, but something goes wrong to where like the station catches on fire.
yeah, the big fuel leak and
They're all trying to run out. AJ and the Russian guy get separated. Bruce Willis does not want to leave him behind. But I love how this is shot with like the close quarters. It feels very claustrophobic.
Claustrophobic.
I like the blue
shaky
lighting
camera.
and everything.
so it's
Very-
kind of spinning too. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very alien. Like it takes me back to like that whole kind of environment and stuff. It's you use like the dilapidated, frozen Russian space station is a great setting. Love it. Love
He's
it,
been
love
up there for 18 months on his lonesome.
He's got a photo of my uncle, real Russian hero.
Yeah.
He makes the bomb thing on the end of the bomb that hits San Francisco, DC.
New York. Which they're just horrified to hear him say that.
Your uncle's a war criminal, buddy. But they managed to escape kind of through like the vents or whatever and just make it back onto the ship in time.
It was I did ask y'all, I was like, is this where he dies? It
felt like it.
Is this where it happens?
If it wasn't Ben Affleck, if it was like any one of the other ones,
Yeah.
it kind of feels like it would have been where
Yeah.
they would have died. I'm kind of surprised nobody did.
Yeah.
Like if I'm kind of going by like horror movie logic, where like, all right, like first big
You got to
scene-
start picking them off.
Exactly. Yeah. And so I'm kind of surprised they didn't have like a third guy with them who didn't make it.
Right.
Maybe if that one guy who left and came back.
There it is.
Just to die here, you know.
Yeah.
Gruber. Let's develop Gruber into that character.
Gruber didn't have an arc, man.
He
That's
did.
just there.
Who? Remember in The Suicide Squad? Did you guys see that one with James Gunn?
The second one?
Who's Milton?
Oh, true.
I don't remember any Milton.
I don't know who this person is.
Yeah, that whole bit. Anyway, so we get to the moon slingshot here now, where they do round the moon. This shit is dope.
Mm-hmm.
This is pretty cool. This feels like a roller coaster kind of moment.
Oh, for like a ride at a theme park? Okay.
Space Mountain. It's literally Space Mountain.
All right. No, but okay.
You just go. You go fast.
Oh. All right.
That's it. You're just in a shuttle going fast. That's
Yeah,
all.
so you
Rapid lights and yeah.
Yeah.
It's good. Well, we see Steve Buscemi's teeth. We see everybody's teeth. Just shaking in the thing.
We get to 10 G's, which,
I think
you know,
it's 11 G's. What is it?
It's 12.
12?
12.
They get to 12, but they slowly climb up, obviously.
Yeah.
And,
Right. It's
yeah.
a good count up thing.
as we talked about with, as we were watching it, Maverick. Maverick
He would
got
have saved
there.
the day. Him and Rooster.
This would have been like
Case
work,
closed.
no reaction.
Yeah, we would have.
Well, they were training him earlier. They went up in the jets
Yeah, they
and
did, yeah.
they
Yeah.
all like sucked at it. Like we said, like they're not
Trying to prep him for this
prepped
moment.
for this
yeah.
whatsoever.
Yeah.
We finally land and we see the asteroid.
Well, no. In the meantime, we lose freedom
We
As they-
overshoot, yeah.
or independent. I'm sorry, we lose the independence.
Yes, yeah, we lose the independence as
Freedom makes it, but it makes it 26 miles off the mark.
This was intense. I kind of forgot. I knew one of them went down. I couldn't remember exactly what happened. And then as it was happening, I was like, oh, yeah, shit, right. So what was your first time seeing it? What was your panic like in that moment?
Well, I was already panicking from the Russian part because I was like, do we lose a ship here? Like, do we all have to like cram into the one? Like, is this what's going to happen? And then as we slingshot, I'm like, no way.
The Russian sequence almost makes you feel kind of safe. It's like, oh, okay, we're good.
Yeah.
You know, and then we're not good.
Yeah. So, well, because we survived the Russian thing. So, of course, we're going to survive this thing, too. So, like, there's no way we're losing these guys, right? Like, absolutely not. And then cut to, we did.
Yeah.
We did. But I was like, because there's a long pause in between. Like, you see the other one land. You see Independence land, which is Bruce Willis and Chick and
the
Buscemi,
Colonel, all those guys. Yeah.
and the Colonel and
Max.
Max.
Yeah.
So you see all those guys land, and you're like, oh, okay, like they made it. So surely the other ones made it, and we're just, for dramatic effect, they've landed somewhere else. But then when you cut back to them, finally, we did lose over half their crew.
Everybody. Yeah, we lose. Owen Wilson is the heartbreaking one.
Yes.
I did kind of forget that until it was happening, I was like, oh yeah, shit, we lose fucking Owen, which is crazy now. It's like, you know what I mean? It's kind of like, it's a bold choice. I think it's a good choice by the movie to like kill off one of your main dudes.
Sure.
Who's also one of your funniest dudes.
Well, but even as we were like on the scene of him with the busted up face and like the busted face mask or whatever, I'm just like, this is a bit. Like, he's just gonna open his eyes and be like, "Ha, got you." Like,
I thought there was a moment. I remembered it where I thought there was a moment where he like
talks to him.
Yeah.
Kind of dying words.
Did you have that too? Did you have that like Mandela effect of it?
Not until you said it. I was like, okay, yeah, maybe he's right, because we knew he was probably dead right there. So, but yeah, until you said that, I mean, I pretty much thought that was it. So
yeah, Ben Affleck's crying over him and everything.
it's sad.
Kind of sad. Pretty good little performance there. Bear and Russian guy climb out. They're okay. Again, they assume on the ground that everyone else is dead, or on the other shuttle and on the ground and everything.
Which homegirl is like, this girl was on the verge of tears for the rest of this movie.
Yeah, she doesn't get a whole lot left to do other than just kind of
Cry
and wait, which is kind of like,
well, that's all you can do.
it's all she can do. Yeah.
So it's not like the mayor of the last one where like she could have been competent.
Ineffective for no reason.
Yeah, because in her moments where she's like, get it together, or like you can't leave them up there or whatever, she's effective. She fights them.
Now, I could have done with one of the crew members, one of Bruce Willis's crew people, being like a hard ass oiler woman.
Oh yeah.
Just to like balance it out a little bit. You get like the Chicken Aliens or something like that. Just like a tough bitch type role, just to round it out a little bit.
Who would you get to play that?
Linda Hamilton. I don't know. Let her do it in this one instead.
Yes.
I don't know. Whoever.
Yes, I love her.
But yeah, I don't know.
Then they start to drill.
They start to drill. Unload the Armageddon.
Meanwhile, they're struggling. Like the Colonel and I'm gonna call her Miss Girl because I don't remember her name.
Watts.
Thanks. Watts are struggling to get comms back up.
Girl.
They're not super confident that they can get the thing started, even like the shuttle back started.
Mm-hmm. The drill like breaks almost as they get like 10 feet in, and it's already starting to like.
Yeah,
their first drill bit already breaks 10 feet in.
Yeah.
Well, because because Rockhound has the thing here where he's like, you overshot the landing by like a quarter mile or whatever the hell it is.
This is the confirmation. No, 26 miles. This is the confirmation that we get that he actually meant what he
knows
said.
What he's talking about. Yeah.
With the 2 degrees from MIT, and he starts talking about how this is grid 9 or whatever, and you're going to be drilling into iron instead. Which I did look up. It's just a harder surface, which is more prone to sparking, more prone to just breaking everything.
Yeah, it's pure iron that they're drilling basically down into, which sucks. Meanwhile, AJ and the crew, or his crew at least, find their armadillo, and it is inexplicably equipped with a Gatling gun.
Yeah.
So they just blow open the side of the shuttle to like drive themselves out of it.
Well, so we see it come back later on the other armadillo with Steve Buscemy just shooting.
Why do
the
they
void.
have these?
Yeah.
But we still don't know why they have it.
You don't know what's in space.
Could have been anything up there. Yeah, right. They have a good little odyssey there of just the three of them trying to get back to the rest of the crew.
Cruising. Yeah.
Just cruising. Great little side quest. Before they all join and everything, we get the whole. This was kind of hard for me to follow.
That gun was an actual gun
from World War II.
From World War II, it's the Gatling gun.
Just stick it on there.
Roughly 1,000 rounds in 15 seconds.
Just had one of those laying around.
just to have.
That is true. I feel like that's true to like the the government.
To the military?
Yeah.
We're like, yeah, here's just in case. Worst case scenario, you could shoot your way out of it.
Yeah.
Yep. They kind of do.
Worked out.
It does.
Well, they almost blow themselves out of it with the whole bomb dilemma. Because they're not making enough the colonel kind of decides they're not making enough progress or whatever. They're losing comms issue. How about y'all explain the whole dilemma here with the
okay
the nuke and stuff?
Do you want to go, Mitch?
Well, yeah. So they're only 57 feet down, and so they get word from the president that, all right, so we're gonna have to pull the plug on this, basically, and they've loaded up. What is it? What's the second?
Second plan?
Second contingency.
Yeah,
like that.
they asked originally, do we have a contingency plan? Mm-hmm. No. Well, turns out we do. We're just not going to tell you about it.
Because you're going to die.
Right. So basically they haven't made enough progress, and we're going to set off this nuke and detonate it remotely.
With half a crew. The idea being that like they would have had two of these things drilling at the same time.
Yeah, we would have had more bits, more time. Yeah, exactly. So now we're cutting time, and they have to remote detonate because we're going to be out of this dead zone where if they don't do it by then, the asteroid will hit Earth.
Doesn't make a difference.
Well, so the thing about the zero barrier, because I was paying attention to the science, the zero barrier,
quote unquote science,
the physics. There is a point in the air where, after that point, the splitting of the asteroid, both pieces will still hit Earth instead of passing Earth on either side.
Right.
So that's the go no go point, basically.
But then they come back and say, well, it doesn't matter if you detonate this nuke or not. We haven't even. It's still on the surface of this asteroid, so we have to still have to drill and put it in. They don't think that matters. Scientists from the president are saying, let's just go ahead and set it off and take our chances, because if we don't, we're going to lose the ability to even try.
Big Dick Keith David rolls in with the berets who like pile into the NASA.
With the Air Force, which was nuts because he's carrying around basically the football.
The football, that the president has,
Why? Why? Why is the president not there?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, to do it? Yeah, he's going to do it.
That is a call that the president makes.
Well, you also get the meme, Mr. President, what are the launch codes? So he's just sitting pretty in his Oval Office waiting for Bear to pull up. So.
But we get some weird Hollywood hacking here as well, because Billy Bob is like, they can still do it, they can pull it off. Mm-hmm. So he gets like one of his boys, I can't remember the guy's name, one of his boys to like, hey, override the launch or override the detonation. So he does it somehow. Yeah. Somehow he does it. Whatever. So that buys him a little bit. That buys Bruce Willis at least time to
talk him out of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because the colonel like whips out his piece,
which is also, we got guns in space.
What you doing with the gun in space?
They literally make that joke. Yeah.
What are you doing with a gun in space?
It is. He opens the safe and stuff and pulls it out, and it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
This is definitely like a jump the shark moment for the movie. It's like up till this, it's like, it's kind of probably some bullshit science, but it's some Hollywood bullshit science I'm used to. And then the gun in space comes out, and it's like, now it's a conspiracy thriller. Now it's now it's a Winter Soldier or some shit or whatever. Like, all right,
we're just out here doing things.
They do manage to like kick the shit out of the colonel. Vice grips him with like the
pliers,
plier things or whatever. Yeah. It almost takes his fucking head off. Really.
No, his literal whole neck fits inside of
it. Yeah. The hacker guy does like stop it for a second, but
gives them enough time to be able to
convince the colonel.
To convince the colonel.
Great shot,
because he's the one that knows how to disarm a bomb,
Yeah,
a nuclear bomb.
And we get it disarmed.
Of course he does.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of course.
Great shot of the hacker guy there who's like sitting at his desk like
He's dressed in
Sweating bullets. Just,
sweat.
yeah.
The exact opposite of the Tony Stark. This guy's playing Galactica. He didn't think we'd notice, but we did.
yeah. Colonel does disarm the bomb. Great Hollywood bomb disarmament.
Red or blue?
Red or blue.
Less.
Blue. It's right. Okay. Whatever. Meanwhile, that's all good. And then they're like, let's get back to digging that hole. So they're pals now. After all that, they're pals.
Yeah. I
Would
mean, you gotta be.
Was this good? Did y'all like this? This whole, I guess, little section? Or was this a weird, like, wrench to throw into it?
I think it was a weird wrench to throw into it.
It was weird, but it also was very American.
Yeah.
Like, if there's anything that we're gonna do, you're gonna have guns, you're gonna have nukes. We're just gonna have we have
Got
the
it all,
artillery.
yeah.
Yeah. It goes back to, like, the government, people not knowing what they're talking about or whatever, you know what I mean?
that's his whole thing is trust me right now.
It has that
if
theme.
we have any chance of saving the people you love back home, you need to trust me. He said he has a good point. He's like, he says, none of those people you're talking to down there are up here. And so that just kind of instills his trust in the, getting the colonel to trust him.
I've never not reached a depth I wanted to reach, or whatever he says.
He says, I've never not hit a depth of
800, whatever, yeah.
Which
He's good,
also,
good
if this
stuff.
was anybody other than Bruce Willis delivering that line, like, I don't think I would buy it.
Yeah.
Because, like, I know from Die Hard, he's going to fucking deliver.
He can get it done, yeah.
But, like, without that, I don't know.
He's a good lead in this.
Yeah.
Like, for whatever else the movie is, like, he does, like, make you buy into the whole situation.
Right.
So, yeah, I'd follow him onto that asteroid.
Absolutely. I don't know about that.
You wouldn't just immediately agree around that conference table like everybody else? No?
No.
Meanwhile, AJ's great adventure across the asteroid. They reach like the end of a canyon and they're like, we can't cross this. But
He's like, we had to land on the edge of the Grand Canyon of this fucking asteroid.
He's like, you ever heard of Evel Knievel? The Russian guy.
Well, yeah, he throws like a rock and he sees that it
floats.
Yeah, so due to the gravity. So just, brainiac idea.
We can float.
Science.
So they do. They jump it. This is pretty cool. Like, this is also some like bullshit
Bullshit science?
Yeah, but it's like, all right.
Well, no.
You think you drive a car off a thing and get some gravity
We've
jump?
seen this before. I can't think of a single
Wall-E?
application before now, but we've seen this before.
Wally.
Well, when he's got the fire hydrant and he's like,
True.
Because that's kind of what they do is like they turn the
Just
thrusters
treading air, yeah.
on and off. Yeah. And the thrusters like go dead at some point.
So they float over it,
Yeah.
and then they start floating too far out.
Russia guy has to go and like
I don't even know what he does.
unfreeze.
Up there,
I think he like breaks the ice off of the thrusters so that
Okay.
they can get the thrust back or whatever.
Yep. Which I guess is just like spark plugs.
Something or
Sounds
other.
good.
Right. Works.
No more or less realistic than the rest of it. I'm surprised he doesn't die here. I'm surprised all three of them make it.
I'm surprised the Russian makes it out of the space station originally.
Yeah.
But eventually through right here, you definitely feel like this is his. All right, I've done my part. You guys, go on.
Yeah. Yeah.
It almost seems like that's what it was in the space station. I've done my part. I've fueled you guys up. Continue on with your journey, But and then you get a second chance to do that here, and he's still just kicking.
It's still with them. Yeah.
Yeah, which is still fine, but
I like he and AJ's little friendship.
yeah.
I like that they develop a bromance throughout this. It's like it's such a random pairing, but it works.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Rockhound's space dementia takes over. As they are making progress with the drill.
The nuke is disabled, and he's writing it.
Oh yeah,
he
he does.
Ride 'em, cowboy.
He makes it's a reference to Dr. Strangelove, Kubrick movie, where that one ends with because that one's like a bunch of politicians who are like trying to stop a nuclear war from breaking out, but it does break out, and it ends with like a cowboy like riding the nuke as it goes down. Like the first, so it's very silly, very goofy movie. So he's doing that bit. Tears into the asteroid with one of the Gatling guns.
Oof.
Because of course he does.
Of course he does.
While this is happening, they drill too deep and kind of trigger an earthquake.
I think this is part of the iron reaction because iron heats up, any metal really heats up as you put friction on it.
Sure.
Drill, friction,
Yeah.
hell of friction, heating up. You get a gas pocket or you get a earthquake pocket.
Sure.
Basically causing the earthquake.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Max goes flying
Bill
in the
Nye the
armadillo.
Science Guy.
Great. Good little segment. Thank you. We need to get you a little jingle.
That would be good. Real talk with Ashley.
Science corner.
Yeah.
We use scientific terms such as thingamajiggy.
So who's the what's it? He goes flying and dies. The armadillo is lost. I like this. I like that they were doing good for a minute. We teamed up. The colonel's cool with us. Everything's chill. We're making progress. Yeah, Rockhound's crazy, but it's okay. And then it all is lost. I like that we have all is lost.
Yeah, they radio back down to Houston and tell them hey,
it's over.
The armadillo's gone. Been destroyed.
Yeah, I like that we lose Max. I like we lose a couple guys here.
Mm-hmm.
That's it's good.
Cut them down.
I think it would be easy for it to be a feel good, everybody lives
right.
kind
you
of.
You got to
thing.
have that. Yeah, that tragedy. Yep.
Yeah, I think it. I don't know. It's brave that it does that. I think
The
because it doesn't feel like
it
it would be the kind of movie that because it's so lighthearted most of the time that I like that we have a couple. I still think it's crazy we lost Owen Wilson. I just think that's a crazy bold move that the movie made.
So then we get Bruce Willis praying to God for a miracle, and I think it's Chick who has the funny line here where he's like, "Well, you're close enough to his ear. I think he heard you this time."
And we get AJ rolling over the hill in the armadillo.
Yeah,
this is great.
Lights
this is actually
up,
hype. Yeah.
Well, no, you get your static first.
Oh yeah, we get our on your left. Yeah, we get our in game yeah. Great trope. It's so tropey. It's just had all the tropes, man.
Yeah.
But it works. I don't know. So they come in. We get back to drilling. Now AJ's in charge.
But then we get the one guy on the ground, walking up to Gracie. Your boyfriend's back.
Yeah. Who is this guy? You know what I mean?
Just random dude coming up to her. One of the Houston guys.
Your boyfriend's back.
Boyfriend's back.
So AJ's in charge. He gets his kind of redemption moment here, where his instincts or whatever pay off.
Mm-hmm. They'll call back to the simulation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good stuff. He has do you trust me? So that's chill.
And they're telling him to slow down, and he just pushes through.
He powers through with minutes to spare, man.
Yeah, another quake or kind of a shower or something or other. I can't remember exactly what triggers it, but
I think it's just other pieces of. I mean, it's just we're getting closer to asteroids moving faster towards Earth,
breaking apart.
Because they also said earlier that it was spinning now.
Yeah.
So we don't get that action camera wise.
Sure.
Because
you
I think
stuff
it's a lot
coming
to do.
from all directions.
But it's starting to spin. It's gravitational thing is spinning.
This is where we lose Gruber.
Yeah.
Whoever that was.
Yeah.
We're not sure.
Which apparently is an internet
It
question
is a meme.
too. Yeah, just a meme, just of who I think this is Gruber.
We're not sure.
That's great. I think that's so funny that's an actual.
Yeah, I mean that was our initial reaction too. We're like, who was that? This guy?
Who was that? Who did we lose?
They're like, Gruber's gone. And they're like, oh, okay,
right.
Gruber.
Gruber. Right. Gruber.
Oh, wow.
I know the
Got
Russian better.
Yeah, right, exactly. He just got here.
I'm best friends with this guy.
You just
only
get
known
AJ's
him.
like, who?
Oh man! In the chaos of all this, shower or whatever it is, the detonator is damaged, or the remote detonator, whatever it is damaged. So they realize someone's got to stay behind, because of course, again, great tropes.
Right.
Rockhound's also tied up at this point. He's duct taped to
He's
the
duct taped to a chair.
chair. Yeah, he's lost it.
His mouth still works.
Right. Colonel's like,
Yeah.
He's still fucking talking.
yeah, they do like untape it for like next, I guess, to breathe. Because it's space and whatever.
He's like, I was just trying to have some fun.
But they decide to draw straws. Chick is like hesitant, or what he was like, I'm not drawing straws against you, Harry. And Harry's like, well, I'm about to draw straws against you.
Yeah, just a circle of I'm not doing it. All right, well, if he's not doing it, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
That went on for like a minute. It felt like it.
It was because they were all at first. They were like, Bruce is like, well, I'm gonna do it, and they're like, no, you can't. If you're gonna do it, I can't go back home.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way I'm going back home and being like, I was the coward who didn't do it.
Everybody wants to be the hero. Yeah.
Well, Rockhound like is like, I know I'm not in my right state of mind right now, but I'll do it.
Yeah. Right.
And then you guys, we did laugh at this too, where like the Colonel like pulls out straws. Like,
Quick.
just,
Just so quick.
He already had
He
them
had
ready.
yeah, he had the gun ready. This was plan 3. It was draw straws.
Well, I don't think they're included in it. He and the astronaut lady, because they're the only ones who know how to fly.
Yeah, they're
So
the ones
it's
who know how to
like-
fly
Right.
back.
That
He
sucks.
said he does say we need 2 of us to get this thing back.
Right.
So
Good for them.
yeah.
Yeah. That was never in question. It
Yeah.
was just the other guys.
AJ pulls it. AJ pulls the, because to his credit, to like character credit, like he's like,
He sucks it up quick.
Yeah.
yeah,
He's
yeah.
down.
This is straight. I kind of almost wish he was a little more.
Heartbroken about it.
Yeah, or if he just had a little, I don't know, because he's like a young dude who's scared. I don't know. There's no fear in it. There's like the acceptance is a little too quick.
But also they have to move quick.
Yeah, they don't have time.
Yeah, that's
It's
true.
gotta be.
They're
That's
on a
true.
time limit. They've got like 12 minutes left. They've got in that 12 minutes, they've got to get off the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So-
true. That's how a lot of
How disaster movies are able to get away with stuff, getting out of stuff like
That's
that. is they're
true.
Like we just
Anytime,
gotta,
yeah, pretty much when I'm like, why does Grace forgive Harry so easily? Well, he's
doesn't really have an option.
He's going to yeah. So they go down to the surface, or Harry's like, I'll walk him down, and you know what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
You immediately clocked where this was going, Ash.
Well, I mean, because he's been such a leader this whole time. He's like, there's no way that he's gonna let anybody take the fall for this. But also, I think him coming around at the very end, right before they like get on their respective shuttles, where like him and AJ kind of make up a little bit, where he's like, yeah, like I respect you, like we're good. In that moment too, like that had to mean something. Like that has no weight if he doesn't act. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And now that AJ has proven that like he is right, like he can do this. He's like, he did drill the thing.
He got all the way back.
He got all the way back on his own. Like he did lead his team. Like it's sort of a coming of age type thing where like it's time to pass the baton because the student has surpassed the master.
You found some depth there that I didn't.
I will get there.
Yeah.
I will overthink and get
That's
there.
good.
And he says, I've always thought of you as a son. So
Yeah.
That's out of nowhere.
Yeah.
That's out of
it's
nowhere
not.
to me.
Well, no,
it's
I don't
not.
think it is because it's kind of like his whole thing with Grace is he doesn't want her to fall for a guy like him, so he sees a lot of himself in
Yeah.
In his kid.
and
In
his
AJ.
yeah,
His surrogate
exactly.
kid.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right.
Because like AJ is kind of the maverick too, in the sense of like everybody else is yes men to Bruce, and AJ's like, I'm gonna think this through myself, like I'm gonna problem solve on my own.
I'm
And
just as good as you, kind of thing too.
right,
yeah.
like or like I want to be just as
Yeah.
good as you at some point. So by doing like I have to think out of the box to get there,
Right.
and this is just a culmination of that. So like the son thing made sense. It did make sense.
Sure. In a self-loathing kind of way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I see it. I get it.
But it's also like that time period of like like I am your father, Luke, like type shit. Like you know what I mean? Like where like
Sure.
nobody wants to be the son or the father, but
You're right.
we are.
Yeah, it's a relationship they've been resisting type
Yeah.
deal.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. So Bruce tricks him, like pushes him, like or almost kills him. Takes his air out.
Yeah, takes his air out.
Like shoves him back in.
Don't
the
get
thing.
why he did that. Was it just so that he doesn't come back out? Is
Yeah.
that-
Yeah,
Probably
it's
just to
just to
force
make
him.
sure that he can't fight him back.
Yeah. They have a sorry goodbye here. I'm your son. Whatever.
Whatever.
Yeah. Whatever.
See you, chump.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Harry has radio's Grace one last time. I like how this is done too, with his face on like all the screens and stuff.
I think I really appreciate that all of like in the hubbub of this thing where like you have like 5 minutes left until the world ends.
That they take that moment.
Let it breathe, and that even like they have like the whole cast just kind of silently watching,
listening and whatever.
Yeah.
And it's good. Like, she does a good job here. She's like, I'm happy to be like you, whatever.
And he hits her with the I'm gonna have to break that promise.
Yeah.
Which that kind of hits.
Yeah.
It's they have a good
and then
daddy-daughter chemistry.
Like her thing back to him hits too, where she's like, I always want, like, I've always been like you.
Yeah, I've always been like you. Yeah.
I've always wanted to be like you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's a good little, again, very over dramatic, a little corny, a little cheesy, but that's the type of movie it is, and it's it's aware enough of that you're like, that's good. But of course, things can't be that simple. They can't take off. This is kind of annoying. The thruster fails or whatever, and then the Watts and the Russian guy have to go. He just bangs it to get it to work.
He has a great line here, where because she's like, hey, like, this is an American ship. You don't know the components, and he's like, components, American components, Russian components. They're all made in Taiwan.
Yeah. On the Russian space that move. I will need you to move.
But then he just beats it with a wrench.
Yeah, and it works. Because, at this point, the movie's like, let's go. It's so, like, we've had, like, a stupid science explanation for everything, and now we're just like, we got to go. So I don't like this. I don't like that we don't just take off. I'm like, we didn't need a last-minute bump in the road like this. Like, let's just go.
I agree.
So they're taking off, and they almost turn around. Colonel's like, he's not doing it yet. Or whatever, because he gets rocked.
He gets blown away, from it breaking a little bit. And,
but he does. But I like the shot here, like the Colonel, like almost like takes his hand off the thruster or whatever, and is like, I trust him. Bruce Willis does it. Boom. There's a weird zoom in here where it like cuts to Liv Tyler's like eye, and it goes into her eye, and it's like this dream sequence of like her as a kid.
I think it was actually Bruce Willis's eye, because it was a green eye.
Maybe. Well, she has kind of green eyes too.
I guess.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think it was him thinking back on
Maybe.
everything.
It's like it's that 7 seconds or the last 7 seconds of your life where you like go through like your whole life.
Man, now you made me like it. I was like, this is stupid and cheesy, but I'm like, I don't know. Damn it. So he does it. It's blown. Everybody's okay. They land. All our reunions on the great, classic astronaut slow-mo shot as they're walking out. Rockhound has his line where he's like, hey, we're heroes now. Don't tell anybody I shot up the asteroid. Everybody gets reunited. Ben Affleck and Liv Tyler are interrupted like twice.
Yeah, they can't get a moment.
Can't for shit.
The truly romantic reunion of Rockhound and the stripper.
Molly Mounds.
Molly Mounds.
Yeah.
And Chick and his wife and his son. Great delivery there.
That's the best sub-character arc, I think.
Yeah.
For sure.
I think we all agreed on that.
Yeah.
So we're like, this is actually very, again, love his acting there, and just like,
very subtle, but
we didn't need it.
No, yeah, you didn't need it.
But it adds a little something.
Yes, you did, because you wanted emotional attachment in the last one.
I like it more than I like the Ben Affleck stuff.
Right.
Is like, even though there's so little of it comparatively, I'm like, that's a more dramatic situation than just like my dad doesn't like you. That's, I don't know. But Ben Affleck gives Billy Bob Thornton the patch that Bruce Willis left him.
Harry said,
Great.
I wanted you to have this. That one made me tear up.
Yeah. I almost would have liked more of Billy Bob and Bruce Willis, just to like, even though we do get a decent amount of time with them, kind of establishing their bromance, that made me feel like, man, I almost wish we had another scene or two. So that delivery hit even harder, even though it does hit pretty hard. And then we close on Smoochy Smoochy of
don't wanna close my eyes.
Don't wanna fall asleep 'cause I miss you, baby, and I don't wanna miss a thing. Roll credits over their wedding, and we hit our 4 heroes. What is it? Bruce, Owen, Max, and Gruber. So that's Armageddon.
Yep.
How are we feeling?
Loved it.
I love it too. It's just, I mean, it still is good. Like I told you before, is just whenever I was growing up, I just remember this movie, and I think Aerosmith too. Just being attached to it, I liked Aerosmith a lot as a kid. I told Garrett earlier, whenever they came out with the Rock and Roller Coaster at Disney, I just fell in love with the idea of Aerosmith. I didn't know anything about them. I'm like 8 years old.
They got a roller coaster in a movie.
They got a roller coaster in a movie about space. I was like, sign me up. But I think it still holds up. So
yeah, let's get into our rankings real quick.
Plot, production,
yeah,
and
performance. Let's start with plot. How you guys feeling?
You're gonna hate me.
Are you gonna give it a 5?
I give it a 4.5.
4.5. Okay.
Mm-hmm. My only issue is why is the president not at NASA?
Directly involved more.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Because the president is also this could have been.
He gets his speech and that's it.
Yeah. This could have been because that's who should be calling the shots anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anyways.
I'll give it a 3.5 because I think there's a couple little chapters in between there, like the thruster at the end that just little side quests like that. We could cut this sequence, we could cut that sequence, or we could add a more dramatic element. I almost would have liked more focus on chick stuff. Or I almost would have liked the romance stuff cut entirely and replaced with something. I don't know what else. But, in terms of the actual stuff that we do get, I like the pacing. I like that we have these little sequences in between, like the Russian thing, like the armadillo journey, the earthquake, whatever. We have little chapters. Every little chapter is very tight and very effective. That being said, there are a few that we could cut this. We could add something a little meatier.
Right.
So.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll rock with just about a 4. It's out of 5, right?
Yeah.
So, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Sorry.
Out of 10, I'm like, man. But no, I think it's fine. I think there's probably a couple plot holes if you really dive into it, but overall, from the start to end, you kind of know what you're getting, and there's enough good rough patches and speed bumps along the way. So.
Yeah. Production.
Ooh. It holds up really well, and I think for the time period it's even forward. So I'm gonna say 4, solid 4.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I'm docking it 1, actually.
I'll tell you what, I'll dock it 1 because I'll put it at 4 too. It's because I think there's still some Michael Bay-isms in here that we don't need this many slow-mo scenes. We don't need this many music video cutaways. We don't need we don't need to cut to a different city being blown up every hour.
True.
There's a few things like that where it's the guy's just having fun sometimes.
Yeah.
More than he's interested in telling the story.
He's Steve Buscemi and he just likes blowing things up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So there's things like that where I'm it's not that anything is bad. It's that things can be a little gratuitous. It's a kind of a less is more kind of situation with him where he could have dialed back a smidge here and there and it would have been a little better for me. But needless sunset shots that are still beautiful, explosions that are beautiful, CGI probably holds up pretty well here and there.
Steven Tyler singing.
The music is iconic. The sets are really good. I like the look of I actually like how these spacesuits look a lot.
Yeah.
Good movie spacesuits.
Yeah, they were.
Mm-hmm.
Very realistic, I think, to that time too.
I like that they're just not orangey. I don't know, something unique about them. So. Yeah, 4 for me.
Yeah, I'm going to go 4 or 5. I don't know too much about what Michael Bay did before this, but it just kind of seems like a transitional piece into, kind of the Michael Bay where, he's known for now and just how he's, just blowing shit up. And it looks good. He sticks to his guns. He found what works for him. And he's not making that critically acclaimed movie that, you're looking for.
He's not winning Oscars.
Right, exactly. He knows what he's doing, and for how early this was compared to what he does now, I think it still holds up to those production standards. So
yeah, performance 5.
Buscemi losing his shit.
Yeah.
Owen just being Owen. Bruce being Bruce. Ben I buy that Ben is goofy in this one. Liv Tyler knocking the ever-loving shit out of Truman at the last minute.
Yeah.
We didn't
My
really
father's
talk about
up there. Yeah.
Yeah. My family's up there. bring them home, and you said you were gonna, in front of the general who's like, we shouldn't mess with this girl, you know?
Yeah.
I think everybody gave it their all. I feel like it was I know it's not one that won any significant awards, but it is one that I buy. I buy every performance in this, I think.
Yeah, I was gonna dock it a bit, like 4 or 4.5, but I can't find a real reason to do that. And you know, it is kind of a 5. I think like it makes a really good use of every one of these little supporting actors who are kind of like in the middle of their careers. You know, I don't know that Ben Affleck is like charming necessarily because he is kind of goofy, but you know,
I mean, he thought he was being cute. I believe that he thought he was being
I believe
cute.
that Liv thinks he's being cute too.
And it was,
maybe that's
but
more
it
on
was,
her.
I wanted to die during the animal cracker scene.
Yeah, but they're all selling it. And again, like I kind of said, like Bruce Willis, he's one of those actors that I think you can be kind of critical of, or like just playing himself a lot of the time, you know what I mean? But he really fits here. Like I said, like he, like just as a leader, as like a guy that all these other guys just put their trust in, who has like got all these wacky personalities to unify around him.
Yeah.
I buy it, and I just like how he's kind of a straight man throughout this whole thing.
Oh, and Lev, the Russian.
Oh yeah, Peter Stormare is
There you go.
fantastic in here too.
Yeah, I'll go rock 5 too. I think even just, I mean, every character, I don't know if it's a credit to the writing or just their performance, but I mean, it made us laugh and feel different ways at certain times. So I think everybody kind of killed, you know, their respective roles. So yeah, we'll rock 5.
I bought Ben Affleck's teeth being his actual teeth until I read otherwise.
Yeah.
You know?
The commitment that
I
man
got
has. I got it. Well, that is Armageddon. And that is the conclusion of our 90s disaster series with kind of the biggest, maybe not necessarily, I don't know about the best, but like definitely, you know, like you were saying, Matt, where like it is a transitional movie into like from Michael Bay's career and into like the 2000s kind of period. So I like it. Definitely, I think a good one that we've ended on here.
I feel like it was this, like we kept
Building.
Well, I don't know. We kind of digressed with Dante's Peak.
Okay.
But like production-wise, we kept building.
You see the evolution of technology a lot.
Yeah, because
with
we
all
started
these.
out with all real in Twister, all real effects.
A couple CGI here and there.
Yeah, but not very much.
No.
And then here, a lot more CGI, but still feels very real.
And we start to see more movie stars too. I think like the casts get a little more and more iconic as well as we go along, which also kind of I think is how Hollywood has become now, where we almost see names more than we see movies, if you know what I mean.
You want to see, oh, I know that guy from.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
For more stuff on the show, you could follow us on what are we at?
Instagram at Podcast of Critics.
Yep, we're on Twitter at just Cast of Critics.
X.
Yeah, shut up. I'm not saying it. And then we're on what is it? TikTok. On the TikTok.
On the TikTok.
At Podcast of Critics 1. Catch us on
Podcast
there.
of Critics. No number was taken.
Yeah, no, it was taken. Yeah, someone took it. There's some other Podcast of Critics out there.
We're gonna buy the rights to that.
Eventually.
We're coming for him.
Yeah.
Mitchell, we appreciate you having you,
Yeah, it's
buddy.
been
Thank you
fun,
for
bud.
having me. Thank you for having me.
We'll hopefully have you back for some other stuff
Sounds great.
that you want to do.
Yeah.
Transformers. I know you want to do Whiplash at some point.
Whiplash, absolutely. So
We'll find a reason to do it.
Find a series to put it in.
Yeah, sometime or another. So, yeah.
rushing or dragging.
I've been Ashley,
I've been Garrett.
I've been Mitchell.
and we've been the Podcast of Critics. Thank you. Good night.
Good night.